Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to Menopause Matters Live for this week. And today I'm going to be talking about supplements because it's one of the things that I get asked about the most by people. I get lots of messages, DMs on Instagram and Facebook and by email asking me, should I take this supplement? Should I take that supplement? What's the right supplements to take during perimenopause and menopause? There's a lot of confusion about it. And my approach to it is quite different to a lot of people. So I want to talk about that and explain why, and then you can make up your own mind as to what you feel is, what resonates with you. Because people have different approaches to supplementation. For those who are new um, to my channel, to my Instagram or Facebook, wherever you're watching this, welcome. I'm Vanessa. I am the menopause specialist, and I specialize in helping women who are feeling really tired, going through a time of transition where their body's slowing down, their metabolism's slowing down. Getting things like brain fog and can't shift weight, tiredness, fatigue, low moods, loss of motivation. That's the kind of women that I really work with the most. And it is very, very common as we head through menopause, certainly the later stages of perimenopause and into menopause. So thank you to those on Instagram who answered my questions about this topic. So I posted some questions on my stories, which I do quite a lot. And I asked some questions about those, who takes supplements in the first place. 88% of you said you did. And when I asked whether you believe they help you or not, 55% said they believed that they did help. 36% were not sure. 9% said they feel some do and some don't. And there was lots of crossover in terms of what you're taking as well. So there are lots of you taking magnesium, which is no surprise to me. Lots of you taking vitamin D, which I will talk about. Lots of you taking calcium. Quite a few of you taking turmeric as well. And so those were the main ones. A few different random ones, which, one or two people were taking. But the main ones that everybody said were those. Now, I also asked you to submit any questions that you wanted to ask me, and I will answer as many of those as I can at the end of this. So I will get to those. Before we get started, rather, wherever you're watching, please do follow me if you're not already. Give it a like so that I know that this information is helpful and that you, want me to do more of this. And do share if there is an option to share as well with your friends who you think might benefit from this. I get, as I said, lots of personal DMs asking me for personal recommendations. And first off, I can't make personal recommendations for supplements without working with you, unless I am your practitioner. I'm not really allowed to give personalized recommendations because I don't know your medical history. I don't know what medications you're on. I don't know your health history, and so on. And so it isn't possible for me to do that. But just generically, I can talk about them. Supplements are exactly that. They are a supplement to the other foundations of health. Good nutrition, of course, getting good sleep, quality and quantity, your stress management, so making sure that your stress is under control, that your body and your mind are not overly stressed. Proper hydration, really important. Movement, exercise. All of those should come first before you should ever be considering taking supplements, because supplements are exactly that. They are a supplement to the foundations of health. And so it's a completely backwards approach to just think you can take supplements and not do all the other things. So what are supplements? Supplements there's different types. You've of course got vitamins and minerals. And vitamins and minerals, some of them are essential to the body, meaning that we can't make them, but we absolutely require them for good function. Some of them we do make some of in the body if we're able to, and sometimes we're not able to for lots of different reasons. Perhaps we've got issues with our ability to digest and absorb them. Then we may need to get them from external sources. And some of them, so some are essential and some are we can make in the body. So when we call a nutrient essential, it means that we can't make it, we can't manufacture it ourselves, so we have to get it from our food or from another source. And then we've got supplements which are non-essential in terms of the body doesn't need them, but they can be really helpful. And the things that fall into that category are things like herbals, so herbs, your turmeric will fall into that, any other herbs that you might use, and so on and so forth. They're not essential to the body, but they can be really helpful when they're taken in the right way, at the right time, for the right person, at the right dose. So the question I got asked quite a bit was, should I be taking them at all? Because as I said at the beginning, some people are taking them, quite a few, and some people aren't taking any. And the answer I give, and forgive me for not being, having a straight answer, but the answer is yes and no. They are super, super helpful. And especially in this very toxic, nutrient depleted world that we live in, with this amount of stress that we have in our environment, supplements can be really, really useful and essential for some people, depending on what they're depleted in. And that's the key point. It depends on what you personally need. I heard somebody say the other day, would you try and save a house with an unstable foundation by putting up just a fresh paint of coat? And the body's no different. Supplements are helpful. They are amazing when used correctly, but not on their own, and not if you are taking the wrong type, the wrong amounts for you and what your requirements are. You have to work on the foundations at the same time, especially if you're struggling with the things like fatigue, lack of energy, slowed down metabolism, thyroid issues, etc. You've got to ask yourself, are there digestive issues? If there are, then those need to be worked on. Are there liver issues? So is your body able to detox properly? Because the thing with supplements is that it can trigger the body to release things and detoxify. And then if you can't detox properly, you're going to cause yourself more problems. Have you got any heavy metal toxicity? That's a big one. You've got to work on the heavy metal toxicity at the same time. That's, really important. And that goes hand in hand with mineral imbalances. Does your body need to be sped up, or does it need to be calmed down? Because the type of supplements you take will have different impacts on your body. Some of them are very calming. Some of them are very invigorating and will speed things up. You've got to know what you need, because if you're taking, for example, there's B vitamins. So certain B vitamins speed you up and some of them calm you down. If you're somebody who's very, very, slow, your metabolism slow, your oxidation rate slow, everything's slowed down in your body, and you start taking just the calming B vitamins or lots of the calming B vitamins, they're the ones that are slowing you down as well. It's not going to be helpful. You may need some of them, but actually you need more of the ones that are going to speed you up. But the problem is most of the formulations of B complexes are made up of random amounts. Well, they're not random, but the supplement companies have put them together, but you can't change the amounts of B vitamins in them. What's there is there. And unless you know which ones do what, you can actually be causing more issues than you're solving. You can see how just taking a bunch of supplements often doesn't make you feel any better. And that's why when I asked the question, are they helping? Quite a large percentage of you said no. Or that some of your supplements were and some of them weren't. And if they're not, you've got to ask yourself, why are you taking them? What's the point in taking things that aren't making you feel better? Unless you know that it's a means to an end and there are imbalances and you're trying to correct them. Supplements are not benign. They are very, very, very powerful. And, you know, people think that because they're not medications, they're perfectly safe and you can take whatever you want and no harm will be done. That's not true. You can cause much bigger imbalances and issues if you don't know what you're doing and you just randomly take supplements blindly. So that's why I'm not somebody who advocates for people to just, you know, read up online or on Instagram or wherever that, you know, something is good for something and, oh, I must take it because I am in perimenopause or because I have that symptom. You've got to know whether it's going to be right for you. The majority of vitamins and minerals should be tested first, or rather minerals should be tested first. And that's something that I really strongly believe. And the more I do this work, the more I realize how important it is. Minerals especially, and the vitamins that are cofactors to those minerals, should not be supplemented, certainly in large doses, unless you know what you're doing. And one caveat for that is magnesium. And I say that because most people require magnesium. And most people are lacking it because it is so depleted in our soils. And it is very, very helpful for menopausal women, perimenopausal women. I mean, everybody can get benefit from extra magnesium. However, the type that you use is really important. There are different forms of each of the minerals, and having the right form is really important because whilst one might be really good for constipation, another might be really good for brain, and, you know, to help with mental clarity, and another might be really good for relaxing the muscles, and another is good for sleep. So it's really important to know which kind you're taking and make sure it's the right type. Some people say, we'll just get a mixture of one and as long as it's got all of them in. Yeah, you could do, but actually you might need more of one than the others. And so that's something that comes from really understanding magnesium and the requirements. And the other thing is, not everybody needs a ton of magnesium and not everybody can utilize it properly. Not everyone can absorb it properly. If you can't use your magnesium, it becomes what we call a loss and we push it out the body, we push it out the cells. And you could be supplementing tons of it, but not actually feel the benefits of it. And if that's the case, then there's things that you can do that need to be done to help bring that balance back and to help get the magnesium inside the cells where you can actually utilize it. So if you're taking magnesium and you're not noticing any improvements, or actually it's making you feel worse, there are always good reasons why. Vitamin D is one that I got asked about yesterday, and it was high on the list. Do I think that everybody should be supplementing vitamin D? Controversial? No, I don't. And the reason being that the women that I work with are, generally speaking, women who show up on a mineral test with slow metabolic speed. So if you're very tired, if your metabolism slowed down and no matter what you do, you can't lose weight, if you've got brain fog, if your moods are low, if you just feel like everything's slowed down, there is a good chance that you may have high or raised tissue calcium. And that is made worse by taking a ton of vitamin D, because vitamin D increases the uptake of calcium from the gut. And when calcium becomes high in the soft tissues, it means that it's not going into the bones and teeth where we want it. And it's circulating in places that we don't. And it can build up. It's the bulkiest mineral there is. It's one of the 4 macro minerals, and it's the most abundant in our body. And when it starts building up in the wrong places, it can build up in our joints and cause stiffness. Make it, you know, it makes you kind of like a statue. It can also build up in the cardiovascular system and cause problems there. So we don't want to be, if we've got a slow metabolic rate, we don't want to be chugging a load of vitamin D because we're going to make that worse. We have to get that calcium down. And when I say down, we want to get it deposited into the bones and teeth or removed from the body. And we don't want it to be where it shouldn't be. And vitamin D will make that worse. The other thing with vitamin D is during the summer months, we should be getting plenty from the sun. It's a hormone, it's not actually a vitamin. And vitamin D is, it's an essential hormone. It's very, very important for us. I absolutely agree with that. But getting it through the skin is much, much better than taking it in a supplement form. Now, should nobody take vitamin D? No, absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But if you're chugging a load of vitamin D and you're getting your levels tested and they're still not going up, what's happening to it? It's a really big topic. I'll probably do a live on this one day, but I'm not going to go into it today. But that's my views on vitamin D. I don't think everybody should just be taking loads of it without testing and without knowing that they need it. After COVID, loads of people started taking tons of it. And I don't think that has helped people. And calcium, should everybody be taking calcium just because they want to prevent osteoporosis? Yes, we know that women are more prone to osteoporosis as they head into menopause. But should they be chugging a load of calcium? No, not unless you know your levels and you know you need it. And it is something that I see so much with women who are slow. Everything's slowed down. As I said, their moods are slow, their fatigue is bad, can't produce energy, the brain is slow. If those are the symptoms you're experiencing, should you be taking a load of calcium? Not unless you know you need it. Most people get plenty from their diet. And the issue isn't that you haven't got enough calcium, it's that it's not being deposited correctly into the bones and teeth. And taking a load more calcium is going to exacerbate the problem. Turmeric, somebody asked me about that. If it helps, absolutely. Always take it preferably with food, because you need fats to help with the absorption of turmeric. And turmeric, there are issues with it. Now, I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it's with iron absorption. I meant to look it up before I came on because I know I knew this before and it's gone from my mind, but there's something with turmeric and large quantities. I will look it up and I will put it into the comments. But yes, turmeric can be really helpful, very powerful anti-inflammatory. If you feel it, you take it and it helps, then why not? And, the same goes for other herbals, except that herbals are really powerful. I'm not a herbalist and I'm very cautious and careful with the herbs that I do recommend to my clients. And I'm careful about the quantities and the interactions with other medications, etc. So it's really important to know what you're doing with herbals and not just to, randomly. I get people who come to me, who start working with me, and I ask them as part of their health questionnaire to fill in their list of supplements. And they can be on like 10, 15 different supplements, including loads of herbs. And when I ask them why they're taking them, they've just read about it somewhere and they thought it might be helpful, but they don't actually know if it's helping or not. It can be a huge money drain if it's a money pit if you don't know that you need it and that it's helping. Somebody asked about supplements and thyroid meds. There are, in the most part, there are lots of supplements that you can take with thyroid meds. But again, I would need to know the details and the specifics. I can't answer that question for you personally because I don't know your specifics. But there are lots of things that you can take. The one thing I always say to people with thyroid meds, and there are some that you can't take, by the way. But the thing I always say about thyroid meds is take them, they should be taken first thing on an empty stomach because your GP or doctor will have told you, but also to take them away from other medications. So I always say, if you do your thyroid meds first thing in the morning, don't do your supplements until at least mid-morning or even lunchtime. Should I take a calcium and multi for perimenopause? I think I've answered that. Calcium, no, not unless you absolutely are sure that you need it. And a multi, I'm not a fan of multis because they're not personalized and they can cause more imbalances because they are very set in terms of what's in them. Should you take things on an empty stomach or with food? Majority is with food. There are some that have to be taken on an empty stomach and it will say on the bottle. But if it doesn't, I would always say take things with food because you don't want things going directly into your stomach without something to kind of buffer it. So, you know, when I'm working with clients, I tell them exactly what to do, whether they should take it with food or away from food. But most things should be taken with food unless it says on the bottle otherwise. Can you take loads of supplements at the same time? Somebody asked. Yes, you can. But again, it depends on whether you want the benefits of the supplement throughout the day. Say for magnesium, for example, I would always, if I'm on a, depending on what the dose I give is, I will usually say take some in the morning and then some at lunchtime or even at bedtime if it's for sleep. Then magnesium is really good at bedtime. So it depends what you're trying to use them for. There isn't a hard and fast rule. Can you take a load together? Yes, you can. But you want to ask yourself why you're doing that. Is it just for ease? Could you spread them out, which is going to be better for you? And I think that is all the questions. Let me just quickly check on Facebook if there are any more that have come up whilst I've been talking. I don't think so. So I think that's it. If you are struggling with slow metabolism, slow brain, fatigue, you're tired, you can't muster your energy, you can't get going, and you want to learn more about this, I am redoing one of my masterclasses, and I will be sharing the recording with people if they comment masterclass. So wherever you're watching this, you can either comment if you're on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, wherever you're watching this, just comment the word masterclass. And when the new one is ready, which hopefully be done tomorrow, I will make sure to share the link with you. It's going to be a brand new version of it. And you'll learn much more about supplements because I do a whole section on supplements in that class, along with a whole load of other information about why your body's slowing down, what it means, and what you should do about it if you want to resolve it and start to feel like your old self again. All right, I will leave it there. If you've got questions, do feel free to put them in the comments or send me a direct message and I will happily answer it. All right. Have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.